gosh.
Sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm, 855 Mike Wins. Jason Carr Live starts now.
Hey, good morning. Look who I have sitting next to me.
Hey.
A familiar, friendly face. Got it shared?
No, I don't know. You're being so kind to try to help me.
Yeah, you're going.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, you're going.
What? I see us.
But we need to turn that
Oh,
down.
there we go. Oh, turn this down. Hello.
We're figuring all this out. I just had to do a cut-in on Local 4, and then I came rushing over here, got the mic on, and we're sharing on the Facebook, and...
And I'm like, Jason, I don't know what I'm doing. Help.
It's all right.
That's cool.
It is so good to
this
see you.
now. Great. I can put this down.
Yeah, you can just put it right down.
Ah, perfect.
Nothing to it but to do it. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to see you. You used to sit behind me at the old place.
That's
and now
right. We were
back.
best neighbors, and
Yes.
sometimes I'd be on her show, and sometimes she would be on the other show.
And you were so kind to keep my refrigerator key.
And then lose it. I have no idea what happened to that key. Your better half gave that to me for safekeeping, and the first thing I did was misplace it. I have no idea what happened to your fridge key. How are you?
I am all right. I can't complain.
Welcome to the other side of the world.
It's nice to be on the other side of the world. You guys have very nice decorations. I can't believe there is a real tree.
Yeah,
about
there's
10
an
feet
atrium
from
right
me.
there and everything.
That's great.
So it is MS Awareness Month.
It is, and thank you for inviting me to come on. I see a little bit of orange in there. Orange is our color, so we try to wear it as much as possible.
You believe that prior to your 2013 multiple sclerosis diagnosis that maybe you had it for as much as a decade?
Oh, absolutely. I've always, I haven't had the best memory, but I noticed that it was becoming significantly worse. And so that prompted me to talk to my doctor, who thought that maybe I had adult onset ADD, which I was prescribed some stimulants, which were great when you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it definitely covered some of the other symptoms, basically fatigue, that is very prominent with MS. So yes, in 13 I was diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure, like most people, I had signs and symptoms for years before.
All right, in a few minutes, we're going to get into a full-blown discussion about MS Awareness Month and what you can do to make a difference. I've actually been on the page this morning, the MS
National MS Society page? Fantastic.
Yes, there it is right there. You can make donations. MyMSAA.org. That's my.
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, that's a different one.
But there are lots of multiple sclerosis organization. The one that I work with specifically is the National MS Society.
National MS Society.
Yes.
Okay, so we can look that up too.
Absolutely, but they're both great groups. I happen to just work with the National MS Society. They're here local. They're all over the country, but the local office is in Southfield, so they're close and convenient. And we just had a conference on Saturday for people dealing with MS-related issues. We were in D.C. last week lobbying for affordable health care and luckily defeating the American Health Care Act. So, but we're hoping that our Congress people will work together to make sure that they have solutions that work for everyone. So, yes, we're busy.
Right. Let's make sure that we mention that it is the nationalmssociety.org that you work with.
Yes.
Nationalmssociety.org. The other one is
right, and they're great too.
Okay,
yep,
all right.
They're
Just
great
making
too.
Sure. All right. Nationalmssociety.org. There is a Michigan chapter. So let's get into the news today. Ford, President Trump took to Twitter this morning saying that Ford is making a big announcement, major investment to be made in 3 Michigan plants. Car companies coming back to U.S. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Local 4 confirmed that Ford is making an announcement at Ford World Headquarters in Dearborn coming up. Well, John, do we know when that is?
That's going to be at noon.
At noon.
Yes.
All
And
right.
we should be live streaming it.
Live streaming at clickondetroit.com.
Will Trump come here to help with that announcement? Probably
Unless Air
not.
Force One is making an unscheduled stop either at Metro or Willow Run. Probably not. Did you see this about horses and traffic?
No, I love horses. Hopefully
Rush
it
hour
wasn't
traffic.
Lulu.
Watch the monitor cue.
Okay.
Traffic came to a standstill during Monday's commute in Northern California. Some 4-legged fugitives.
Oh, they're beautiful. And as long as they didn't get hurt.
They were going against oncoming traffic on I-680 in Contra Costa County.
But they stayed off to the side, so that was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Nice of them. Thoughtful.
Horsepower. Look up, there they go. Can you imagine if you were on, let's say you're driving down 696.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
There probably have been some horses loose on 696 at one time or another. But
Okay, it's a tale as old as time. Girl meets water heater, thinks it's a robot, and falls in love.
I'm not buying it.
Take a look. Raina was out for a walk when she found this water heater and mistook it for a robot.
How old is Raina? Oh, okay. All righty. Oh, a water heater.
She's saying, "Hi, robot."
Oh.
Hi, robot.
Well, I can't fault her for that. It does look like... Do the Jetsons still come on?
The Jetsons?
Yeah, with Rosie and all that.
I love you, robot. Or I love you. I love you is what she's saying. So I have an IFB, and so I can hear it.
Right. I should have brought my IFB. I still have one.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's in a drawer somewhere.
So if somebody, do you do like, I know you have done Facebook Lives, but as a general rule, do you do them on a regular basis?
No, I should. I know I should. And that was the goal. Actually, that's going to be my mid-year resolution. It's going to be my April 1st resolution. I'm going to get back at it. I was supposed to do a blog. I had some issues that happened, and I had to stop the blog for a little bit after my very first posting. So I'm going to get back at it, though. Lots of things to talk about. Lots of people ask me lots of questions. So yeah,
such as? You don't have
well,
to say.
well, no. People ask, of course, like what am I doing to manage my multiple sclerosis, and people ask me about some of the items I use to manage symptoms of multiple sclerosis. I just don't want to know how much we can go into.
As much as you'd like. It's an open forum. We're not restricted in any way, shape, or form.
Well, as you know, I'm a medical marijuana patient, and I feel that it has been beneficial for my condition.
The medical marijuana.
Absolutely. 47% of people who have MS have admitted to using cannabis to manage symptoms. And so a lot of people come to me and they ask me questions really about cannabis. And I read a lot about it because this is my health and this is important to my health. And pain is no fun, and it's great for pain management. So that'll be my spiel, unless you ask me pointed questions. But I don't want to come over and take over your...
No, you are a rich and compelling guest with a lot to say.
Well, thank you.
You can say what this. I mean, we're not restricted. This is like I said, it's an open forum.
All right.
Olivia Enderly just turned 8 years old on Sunday. She lives in Ovid, Michigan, and is fighting neuroblastoma, a type of cancer that grows on nerves off in the spine. She has done 8 rounds of chemotherapy and had a kidney transplant last year. She told her family she wanted birthday cards and Elmo for her birthday, and word spread like wildfire across the internet. So far, she's received over 2,000 cards.
Yay.
Her birthday was Sunday, right?
That was Sunday, yes.
Sunday.
Keep them coming.
That's right. We have one right here. And we're going to send this to her, right, John?
That's right. I already got the envelope ready to go.
Yes, he did. I even moved it. I saw it right here, though.
We have it right there. So the address for Olivia, if you want to send Olivia a birthday card or well wishes, because she's been 8 years young, she's really been through it.
She's a trooper, too. 8 rounds of chemo.
Oh, my gosh. Neuroblastoma?
Yeah.
Her address is Olivia Enderly, 133 East Oak Street, Ovid, Michigan, 48866. So we will be sending this to her. Are we going to have multiple cards? Or are we going to have...
We could put a couple together. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Make sure everything you go around and have everybody sign it and make Olivia's day.
Oh,
hopefully.
she's such a cutie.
Look at that. I love that.
I know.
I'm so excited. She's so cute. What do you think of the emoji? The emoji?
Well, I think emojis are nice. However, your wife and our group of friends, some people have gone a little overboard on the Bitmoji. So I did take about an hour to design my own Bitmoji. And surprisingly, because I showed it to my husband, and you know what he said? Looks like Rhonda Walker. So I had to change it. You know, Rhonda and I have the same birthday, so
there you
maybe
have
it was
it.
this little kismet or something that we were just meant to be. But I had to rearrange my Bitmoji, but it was fun. And they had different clothes. There was actually a Diane von Furstenberg closet for your Bitmoji, and of course I'm a fan. So.
I have no idea what a Bitmoji is. Is that what the thing that looks
Yes.
like you? Okay.
Yes.
All right, good news for lovers of emojis. 137 new ones have been proposed by the Unicode Consortium, which oversees the creation of new emoji. Emojipedia has created some of them in an Apple-like style is indicative of how they might be displayed when released by vendors. They include a breastfeeding mother.
You know what? That's the one that I was leaning in. I was like, what is she holding? Oh, she's holding her breast. Okay.
Yep. A woman wearing a hijab, a face vomiting, exploding head. The emoji update will be released this summer on June 30th.
Now,
So
most
broccoli in there
importantly, in the right-hand corner there's a giraffe.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
that's important.
April the giraffe. Have you been following this developing story, Q?
Did she have a baby?
She has not had the baby. Do we have is it April?
Actually, I don't have it available.
It
at
was
the
up
moment.
earlier. So.
All right. Finally, at least 18 people were hurt over the weekend when an escalator at an upscale shopping mall in Hong Kong suddenly malfunctioned. Cell phone video showed the packed escalator suddenly reversed direction.
Oh, wow.
What?
Oh, I'm looking. Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
And Jason, I'll go ahead and say it for you. People, turn the camera when you're videotaping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. That was, Q remembers that back in the day at the other place, one of my frequent complaints was people that shoot video in.
Complaint. It was a rant.
It was a rant, yeah. You have widescreen horizontal video at your disposal. Go ahead and use it.
Use it.
Yeah, Jason and Q, that's right. People are talking to us. There's Deborah Kuzmano. Mary says she misses you, Q. Shamir says she hey, Jason and Q. Love Q, miss watching her. Travis.
Hi, Travis.
Pat, there's a politically charged statement. We just need Big Pharma to back off and put people first.
Oh, Pat, Paxone, the drug that I was prescribed, started off at $8,000 a year. Now it's $91,000 a year. So you're preaching to the choir, Pat.
Really?
Really. As we were in D.C. talking about, 300 MS patients from all over the country were flown to D.C. to talk about these issues. And every time a new MS drug comes on market, all of the older drugs raise their prices to match it. It's insane.
What's Tecfidera?
Tecfidera is another MS drug. They call them disease-modifying treatments because they are not cures.
There is no cure, right?
There is no cure. It just these drugs, these treatments slow the progression of your disease, and sometimes they're very effective for a lot of people. However, if you have progressive forms of MS, they are not effective. There is one drug that has come on the market, that is coming on the market for progressive forms of multiple sclerosis. And that drug starts with a price tag of $125,000. And you're on these drugs for the rest of your life. So this is why drug pricing is very important to people who suffer from lifelong chronic illnesses, like me.
And this month is, the rest of this week, concluding MS Awareness Month. There are 4 types of progression, right? There's
4 types of MS, yes.
It spikes and then it goes back, and then, but it's progressing all along the
That's called relapsing remitting. So you have relapsing remitting, which you have periods of activity where your body is actively attacking your brain and your spinal cord. And then when that stops, that's considered remitting. So you relapse, and that means your symptoms come back. You remit, that means your symptoms go away. Once you're relapsing remitting, once you transition out of that, 50% of people with relapsing remitting will transition. That's going to become secondary progressive. And then there are also secondary progressive, primary progressive, and then there is another one that I can't remember. But the progressive forms are the ones that lead to decreased mobility, increased disability, and so those are the ones. And once you start on the progressive path, your condition continually progresses to a negative, not a negative effect, but you progress and your disability increases.
If you have any questions for Anquinette Jameson, friend, former coworker, pro-medical marijuana advocate in terms of the medical results for MS, absolutely, this is the place to do it. You can talk to her right here. We're looking at your comments live on the Facebook. Anything you want to ask?
Let's see. Does every relapse get worse? That's from Steve. Every time you have a relapse, it puts you at risk for increased disability. So usually when you have a relapse, what you have lost during that relapse does not come back. So some people will have a bad relapse and maybe they'll lose the use of a leg. or you may have a relapse. And for me, you may have a relapse and your memory gets worse, or the numb. I haven't felt my foot in about a month now. I have another MRI in about 2 hours now. So that's how you figure out if you're in an active relapse. Usually it's through an MRI. So it just depends. Some people have a relapse and they're okay. Some people have a relapse and they find that some functions are no longer available to them.
And multiple sclerosis was finally given a name about 150 years ago.
I believe so. Some
by a
French doctor.
French doctor, and it's what sclerosis is like scarring on the spinal cord and the brain
right.
stem, and it shows up on imaging
MRI, right?
As spots.
Right. So multiple sclerosis is scarring, and so what happens when you have MS is your fighter cells, your T cells, and some other cells too, but mostly your T cells, they become misdirected. And they, instead of protecting and fighting foreign bodies, they attack the insulation on your nerves. It's called myelin. So once that has been eaten away, at every relapse it's eaten away, that's when you have progression and your nerves become damaged, and then you lose abilities and functionality.
Ronald says, Q, bless your advocacy.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you for speaking out, Q. It's important to change the face of medical marijuana, according to Jovan.
Very true. We're trying. And Jovan, you get out there too now, because it's people who
How can somebody become active, an activist?
You know, I just say people, activism starts with your neighbors. Activism starts by saying, look, I do this and here is why. Granted, there's a lot of misperceptions out there. There are a lot of myths out there. And if you are someone who has seen the positive aspects, and there are some negative aspects of using cannabis as well, but if you're someone who has seen the positive aspects of it, I just tell people, just say something. I tell people all the time when I would go and see my family, I would bake something and I would take it home because I have stomach issues and nausea issues, and it really helps. And I gave one to my aunt, and she's 73, and she said, I need some more of those muffins because I really slept great. So, hey, someone just walked by. So it's all open here. So yes, it's I say advocacy starts by just your friends and neighbors and just saying, look, let's talk about this. Have some uncomfortable conversations with people.
So how's everything otherwise? How's
it's okay.
Yeah,
Things are okay.
A year and a half ago, you and I were in a completely different place.
I know.
Still sitting more or less next to each other. But
it's been a transition. I still wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then roll over and go back to sleep, which is great. But the transition is tough. I'm looking for that. You find a way to connect. MS Action Day is coming up in April, by the way, so you can sign up for that, and that's when we all get a caravan and we go to Lansing and talk about local issues that affect people with MS and other types of illnesses. So you find a way to be busy and to keep your mind busy, especially. And so yes, but it's different. I think about, are there other things I could do? Maybe.
All right. Thanks for speaking out on this subject, says Bonnie. Love you guys. Kenneth Wright. Donna says, looking good, Q and Jason. Well, she looks good.
Oh, thank you. You look great as always.
Good morning, Q. Gary Holden, longtime viewer, saying hi. Gary and Pam Sprouse, always with something positive to say.
Well, thank you. I love positivity. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's also that, mindfulness, positivity. There are different approaches to treating the symptoms, right?
Absolutely, and it helps. Some people say yoga helps. I've tried. I'm going to keep trying with yoga because it's all about breathing and mindfulness, and that helps. And maybe I could use some of those mindful tricks later.
Jovan wants to know if you've had any negative feedback, presumably about the advocacy or the activism.
Well, yes, I have.
How do you deal with it?
People are entitled to have their opinion, and so I listen, and I recognize that even negativity, there's validity in even negative comments, and so I listen to them. Usually it doesn't change how I feel, but it's good to listen to viewpoints that are different from your own. I've gotten into some contentious conversations, on a contentious conversation on the radio. People may remember that from back in November. I won't talk about who and what, but yes, there are lots of people who are very passionate about this issue, and I understand and respect that. And we have a differing point of views, and I respect that as well. So, you know, you listen to people and you keep going.
All right, in a few minutes, it's 9:21 right now, 27 past the hour. I'm going to have to run over to the other side of the newsroom and do a cut-in on TV. We can certainly keep the conversation going with John back here, who's become sort of a...
Do people ever see John?
Yeah, they see. John, can you show yourself on the camera?
John's like, I don't know.
There he is.
Hey!
Hey, everybody.
So John is like a Gelman to
Oh,
my
all right.
Regis. That's what we
Okay.
figured out. He's sort of... or like, what was the name of Craig Ferguson's skeleton sidekick?
I don't remember the name.
That was, you remember him?
No.
Craig
Who is
Ferguson
this?
on the Late Late Show
Oh,
had
my
the
gosh.
skeleton sidekick.
Jason, you know that I was religious about going to bed at 7:30. So it's like, don't text Q. She's not going to get it. If anything needs to happen tomorrow, just let her know at 4.
Now,
Yeah.
I have an idea. I'm going to take the cut-in. So we'll talk for a few minutes, and then once you do the cut-in, we'll actually take it over here, and we'll have it live over here as well.
Oh, okay.
Look at
You can do
that.
that. See, he's an
Right.
innovative guy.
See?
He's sharp as a
That's
tack.
fantastic.
Boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball. I say there, boy. A foghorn leghorn on a Tuesday morning. What? Make any good food lately?
Well, I have this obsession.
Any borscht?
Richard made borscht, and his mom is
Richard
coming.
is her better half.
Yes, we just finished off some borscht last week. Yes, Richard made borscht, but and his mom comes in like 2 weeks, and so she'll be making some more borscht. They're Russian, by the way, so we should we, can I say that out loud? I don't know, all this talk about Russia and Russians. Maybe I shouldn't say that I'm married to a Russian.
You can't paint with a broad brush.
But I am obsessed with Cafe Cortina's lasagna.
We were just there recently.
Have you had the lasagna?
I have not had their lasagna.
All right, I'm going to put Cafe Cortina on blast in a good way. Cafe Cortina's lasagna is unlike any lasagna you've ever had. It's a pesto bechamel sauce with braised beef, which explains why it's going to be a little more expensive than any lasagna you've ever had. But for 2 years now, I have tried to recreate the lasagna. And now I bought pine nuts for the very first time. They were on sale at Costco. And a food processor. I'm going to make my own pesto.
Nice.
And I'm going to try to once again recreate Cafe Cortina's pesto bechamel lasagna. That's my fascination right now.
I'm going to run over to do this cut, and you and John are going to continue the conversation with John flipping back and forth between his own camera and this. Can you get a tight shot on cue, or a
Yep.
close-up rather,
Yep.
so it
I'll
doesn't...
set that up here in a
So
second.
And then you can talk about...
Okay.
You know, earlier I mentioned the wrong site, so we want to make sure we have national.
Yep.
mssociety.org is the one that you're affiliated with.
Yes. Oh well.
Take this off.
Okay.
And I'll be backing in.
I'll be here holding down the fort.
Good job.
I guess. So John, you're going. Oh, you have to stay back there. All right.
Yeah, I
So
gotta-
should I just look at your phone and answer some questions?
Sure.
All righty. Let's see. CDC no longer. Okay. Well, this is I guess everyone's talking about cannabis, which it's great.
That's kind of what the conversation is steered into. It's,
Okay. Wow. Should we talk about other things? But
well, I see a lot of the comments. People are asking how they go about getting prescribed and getting involved in it.
Okay, well then let's talk about that. So I was one of the lucky people, I guess, because I went to my neurologist, who is unfortunately no longer with us, but Wayne State University DMC doctor, and I talked to him about the reasons why I felt that cannabis should be something that I would like to try. And he was on board with it. I have to say, though, I have spoken to a lot of people, a lot of patients, especially people who are dealing with severe and chronic pain, and they have also talked to their doctors, and a lot of doctors will not even entertain the conversation. And that's really unfortunate, because there is a lot of evidence and a lot of research that supports that cannabis can be an effective treatment for pain and other...
Oh, hold on. We've got, we've got Jason here, and let's take him live.
A tweet
Okay.
about
No,
Detroit's
right.
Big Three, and here's what he had to say. The president tweeted, "Big announcement by Ford today. Major investment to be made in 3 Michigan plants. Car companies coming back to U.S. Jobs, jobs, jobs." End quote. Meantime, Local 4 has confirmed that Ford is set to make an announcement at noon over at Ford World Headquarters in Dearborn. Of course, we will bring you details of that when it happens. Let's go now.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. We are looking at a cloudy and cooler day today compared to yesterday's low 60s. Probably stuck in the 40s for a good chunk of the day due to the clouds and that north breeze, cool breeze. North wind at 44 degrees, feels like 39. There's a look at the clouds. Couple of holes, couple of breaks, but they keep pouring in off of Lake Huron, so they will fill in. And at late afternoon into the evening, we expect the conditions to sort of relax and get a little bit of clearing late in the day. But the wet weather is east and west of us, not an issue. We're looking at upper 40s through the afternoon and a little more sunshine on your Wednesday.
All right.
All right.
And we're back. How'd that work?
We're speedy. Fantastic. You know, I have your phone here, and I want to address two things. Jeanette, I also make a really great vegetable lasagna, and it's a great way to get kids to eat more vegetables too. And Gary wants to know about the trip to Washington and what was it about it that made me feel that it was a success. It wasn't just 300 people with MS who were there. I think that's part of it. And I don't know if the timing just worked out this way, but there were lots of groups of disabled people. It was like the Disability Awareness Council just went crazy. There were walkers, there were canes, there were power wheelchairs and wheelchairs all over Washington, D.C. last week. Everywhere you went, there were people with limited mobility, and they were there. They were on Capitol Hill. Mm-hmm. We were going from office to office talking to our congressmen and our senators and congresswomen as well about these issues and about health care. And I think that really made the difference. And I mentioned this on my Facebook page. Even if you weren't in Washington, D.C., every office that you went into, the phones were ringing off the hook. There were so many people who were calling these congressional offices saying, this is what we want and this is important to us. And that really opened my eyes to the power of advocacy. And you don't have to be there to make a difference. Pick up the phone. Right. Call them and
email,
say no.
Social media.
They listen. They really, really listen. It made me almost think maybe I should run for office. But,
maybe you should.
Oh, yeah. Let me get this MS under control first, but then maybe we'll work on it.
When you get up, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I get to roll over and go back to sleep, are there ever those occasions where you're like, well, I wouldn't mind going in and...
Oh, it's actually sad. I understand now why people don't retire. I get it. I get it. The first 6 months fly by, and then you're like, wow, okay. No, it took me a while to even prepare for the inevitability of retirement. Don't think that I woke up one day and said, yeah, I'm out. My neuropsychologist, my neurologist, my husband, my father, my mother, everybody was like, you can't keep doing this. But no, I miss it. I'm only 45. I'll put that out there. I'm 45.
Oh, you're 29.
Yeah, I'm 45. And so I thought that I had a good 15 years left in the workforce. So that's an adjustment, and that's a shock when you're like ready to go. And you have all these clothes in your closet you want to wear, and
you are a sharp dresser.
Yeah, that's okay. I sent a whole bunch back to a consignment shop and cleaned out my closet a little bit, so it was time.
So until a short time ago, for you and I both, this would have been considered, and I say this lightheartedly, enemy territory.
I know, taboo, but we're not. We can say this now. We've never been, enemies, and there's never really been this antagonistic relationship between them.
Lightheartedly.
Right. I mean, we all party together, no matter if you work at 2, 4, 7, 20, wherever. We're all friends because we all know that there's a good chance we may be coworkers one day.
Yeah, you never. It's a crazy business. Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen and what turn life is going to take, what have you. It's funny you said you named a bunch of stations like, oh, we all party together, but I never see Windsor at any of our parties. Channel 9 never seems. That's probably because of the traffic at the bridge and the tunnel, which will go up exponentially if they legalize by 2018 recreational marijuana. I don't know if you heard today, but they're saying that that's going to be a thing by 2018, making good on Justin Trudeau's campaign promise.
Oh, in Canada? Oh, absolutely. Well, right now, I mean, their medical market is pretty much run by the government. It's all mail order too. So if you have a card, it comes to your house. Great as that.
Comes to your house.
It's nice and safe. Something to think about.
If you have a question for Q, Anquinette Jameson, hanging out with us, it seems like old times.
I know.
In a different place. Now's the time to ask it because we are live right now on the Facebook, and we can answer in real time. While I was doing the cut-in, did anybody ask anything?
Someone asked about Washington, and then we watched your cut-in, so good job.
And you know what I loved about that cut-in was we had already talked about that, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut-ins. So late.
Cut-ins. Cut-ins. That's what we call them on TV when you have to do that little news break, when they go, Today's Show gives you a little local availability. You come on, you pop on, you say one headline, quick forecast, and boom, gone. Mm-hmm. Joyce says, two of my favorites, my son has MS, and we follow you on Facebook.
Oh, thank you so much.
How does somebody follow you on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram?
I'm building up Instagram. I don't understand Instagram. I think I'm just too old to understand Instagram. But yes, please follow me on Facebook. I think if you Google Channel Q, it'll come up. But also my name. QUE.
Channel Q, QUE.
Right, but it's under Anquinette Jameson Sappho. I finally get to use my married name, on TV. Like, oh my gosh, the Anquinette name is tough enough. Do you really want to throw the Sappho in there too? So I am legally Anquinette Sappho. So yes, SARFOH. SARFOH. All right. In case you're looking it up.
I think
right now.
We'll make sure that we put that in the link so people can link right to your page. Is Richard watching?
I hope so. You know how he is, but yeah, I hope so. I know he's going to share it because he does share my
Richard,
posts. So.
I need some borscht with the dollop of sour cream. I'm dying over here.
Hey, be careful what you wish for.
Uh-oh.
Start grating those beets.
Love it. Good morning, Q. What a wonderful surprise.
Well, thank you. Hello.
Well, I don't know about that.
Uh-oh. We'll have to look at that one later.
Todd says everybody in Canada has a cooler in their trunk. Well, the news that Q is doing, how would you answer that question? In a different way.
Are you still doing News Q? No, I'm not.
Well, you are in the sense that you are advocating.
Absolutely. I am, as someone with multiple sclerosis and as someone who deals with this, I know some of the struggles and I know some of the things that keep people from saying that they have this disease. So in that way, I guess I'm giving the news because I want people to be empowered with their condition and not just multiple sclerosis. I've become sort of a health advocate as well because it's all of us have something. I always believe that all of us have something, and usually these things can be mitigated and helped by diet, nutrition, exercise, supplements.
Have you cut anything out?
I have. I am actually gluten-free, and I hate saying it because people, oh my gosh, no, another gluten-free diet. But gluten was causing an inflammatory and an allergic response for me, so I cut that out. A lot of people with MS have a gluten insensitivity. Get a blood test, check it out, make sure you have it, because any type of inflammatory action affects our multiple sclerosis and our condition. So yes, I have cut that out. I know some people are advocates of a plant-based diet. I follow a diet that stresses eating animal protein, specifically grass-fed beef. So I'm actually buying a quarter cow from a farm in Monroe.
It's always been a dream of mine to buy a quarter cow.
Really?
I've got the freezer in their garage.
They tell you how much freezer space you need because you really do need a deep freezer. So yeah, my cow will be ready for pickup in the middle of June, I believe, which is so weird. I want to drive down there and look at it while it's still alive, but that seems so odd.
That does seem really odd. It's like looking at a pig before you have bacon.
Right. Like, but it'll help my brain, so I'm sorry, cow. But I'm gonna
sorry, cow. So I just got some gluten-free soy sauce the other day. I bought a whole jug of it off of Amazon after having.
Isn't Amazon great?
Amazon's great.
Yeah. Have you tried it? Any difference?
Oh my God, it's delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't tell the difference.
Good.
John says my wife has MS and marijuana does great things for her quality of life.
That's good to know. That is good to know. I should a lot of people with MS that they tend to do better with things like with edible forms. I like to bake. So
Talk about that.
I like to bake. So I've been working with some people, and maybe in a couple of weeks or so I'll have something else to talk about.
Eric
Hopefully.
says, hi, Q.
Hey, Eric.
Kimberly says the state of Michigan and doctors still need to be more informed on the medical marijuana.
They absolutely do, and this is where you come in handy because, again, the information is out there. I read a lot of clinical trials out of Israel. I tell people this all the time. If you wanna find out more about about medical marijuana and cannabis, we say cannabis because it's actually cannabis, and when it was legal in this country until 1937, they called it cannabis too. But I have always been that type of patient who would go into my doctor's office and say, well, I read this study, what about this? And bring them. If you have MS in particular, you may have some cognitive issues. So my doctors knew I would come in like, all right, so this is what I read.
I bet they'd
tell
love
me
to hear
about
from you.
They
They're probably like, oh, God, here we go
comes
again.
the news chick.
Face palm, here comes.
Right. But no, be an informed patient. You know more about your health and your body than any doctor. Quit giving them the power.
There's a
Get
lot of-
online, learn, and then take it in there and say, this is why I want it, and these are the reasons why.
Olis Jones says, how do you find a safe vendor for your meds?
Well, there are lots of growers here in Michigan. We're lucky that the agricultural aspect of Michigan is running strong. So there are. I would suggest you find someone who is a grower and have that person get a caregiver. This is Michigan right now. The medical system is on a caregiver system. So once you get a card, you have the right to get a caregiver, and that caregiver is in charge of procuring the types of cannabis that you would need. So yes, get a card. And go to MI Legalize. That's the organization that I work with. I volunteer with the MS Society and MI Legalize. I just want to say that I'm a volunteer. But there are lots of organizations out there that can put you in touch with competent, socially conscious and environmentally conscious growers out there. And especially for things like Charlotte's Web, high CBD types of plants that do not get people high or have very little psychoactivity. A lot of growers grow that and give it away because they can't sell it, nobody wants to buy it. There are growers out there who can grow you an amazing and safe product. Just milegalize.com. They're also on the website, on Facebook as well. Look them up. They have a network of growers who are willing to help people. It's all about patience. So,
Q, your opinion, genetic or not, I have it, and so do two of my cousins, says Rebecca. I know that there's a debate about what causes it, not really clear. It could be genetic, could also be something like if you live on one side of the world and are exposed to certain things at a age, and you go over to the other side of the world. And
it's if you are in a northern climate, the farther you are away from the equator north, the higher your incidence of getting multiple sclerosis. What was the other part of the question? Oh, the genetic component. You know, the previous research said that there was no genetic or hereditary component. However, they're now changing that because they have identified some genes that not necessarily trigger MS, but lead to a higher susceptibility of MS. There's this belief that MS is a convergence or a confluence of environmental factors. So it's like where you live. Do you live in a colder northern climate?
were you recently exposed to a virus?
Exactly. The Epstein-Barr virus comes up quite often with people who maybe you were exposed to the Epstein-Barr virus. Where you live, and then of course, is there some sort of genetic susceptibility? So the hereditary aspect, they're saying that it could be possible genetic susceptibility, but they aren't sure. They just don't know. Because again, it's supposed to be rare in African Americans, yet here you have in the Detroit area in particular, and some other places as well, they're noticing a higher than usual number of African Americans with multiple sclerosis, and it's usually a disease of white women between the ages of about 20 and 40. So when you have these anomalies, they're looking for an environmental trigger or factor. But again, this is where research and research dollars come in handy because it takes money to find out the reasons why. And those are some of the things that we asked for when we went to Washington as well. We want $5 million for a surveillance system so we can track the incidence and occurrence of multiple sclerosis. Hasn't been done since 1975. So
It's a long time.
It is.
You and I were in kindergarten.
Right.
Jamie says, please bring up when people do not see it doesn't mean you aren't hurting beyond belief. Just because it's not always showing in my walking problems doesn't mean that there aren't problems they cannot see.
That's true. That's true. And there's a whole component in the MS National MS Society website called "But You Look So Good," because we hear that all the time. But you look so good. It's
You
like,
mentioned
yes.
the website, nationalmssociety.org.
Yeah.
There are multiple, as we referenced earlier, there are different outlets on the web, but this is the one that you are affiliated with.
Yes, absolutely. This is the one. And you know what? I know you mentioned Ford earlier, and I just have to give a shout out to Ford.
Ford Motor Company.
Yes, Ford Motor Company, because every year Ford Motor Company has been such a champion for the MS cause, and we had this gala last year and raised $1 million. $1 million. So we have so many corporate champions in this fight, and I wanted to just highlight them because we just had a gala and they just had an award ceremony, and they have all these teams, and GM was out there as well, and I don't want to ignore them, but the $1 million gala that we had at Ford was the first time for us, and it was outstanding. And we just want to thank all of our corporate sponsors, including Ford. So, thanks, guys.
Jamie acknowledges. Thank you for acknowledging her question. Yes.
Oh, okay.
With the, but you look. What is it? You look so good.
You look so good. So no, it's I know it's disappointing. It's really frustrating when people say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you." I mean, I get into it with my dad sometimes. He's like, "Well, I have those memory issues too." I said, "Daddy, you've got 20 years on me. That's the difference." You just have to be nice about it and just hold firm. To say, even though I look great, and thank you for saying I look great, I don't feel so great. So don't assume that because I look okay doesn't always mean that I'm okay. So just tell people and then smile and say, "Thanks for saying I look great."
Something that you said about 15 minutes ago that struck me, kind of like, wow, I didn't think about that, was that you said you couldn't feel your foot.
No. Yeah, but that's standard.
It's like it's asleep? Like
Yeah.
Do you have the
pins and needles?
Pins and needles?
Sometimes, but the thing about MS is, and in different countries, like in Europe, they call it the 10,000 faces, because you really, anything and everything your brain controls, MS can affect. So yeah, my hands fall asleep all the time. You feel burning. I was in an MRI last week, and all of a sudden I was fine, and then my heart rate spikes. I break out in sweat. It can change from 1 minute to the next. I can be eating a fantastic meal and everything's fine, and the next second I am instantly nauseated. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's always something.
One more time, nationalmssociety.org, and then also you can follow Q on Twitter or Facebook. Channel Q, that's channel, and then QUE.
QUE.
At Channel QUE. We want to say again, remind everybody that one of our stories here, John, I'm going to talk about the little girl with the card. Olivia Enderle just turned 8 on Sunday. She lives in Ovid, Michigan, and is fighting neuroblastoma. She's gone through 8 rounds of chemo and had a kidney transplant. She told her family all she wants is birthday cards and Elmo for her birthday, which has already happened. So far, because this went viral on the interwebs, she has received 2,000 cards and counting.
Fantastic. Where do people put money in those cards?
We are going to send her a card as well from Local 4 to little Olivia Enderle. She just turned 8 on Sunday.
My mom still puts money in my birthday cards.
She does?
She does. I'm like, oh, Mom, that's sweet. So she got me a Starbucks card last time. I said, just give me a Starbucks card.
When was the last time you got a $2 bill and a birthday card? Remember the $2 bills?
I have a $2 bill in my
supposed
wallet.
To be lucky.
Exactly. That's why I won't spend it. It's over there. But no, it's been a while. I would say a good 40 years.
John, can we see the robot, the little girl in the robot again? Bring up the sound on that. I wub you, robot. Wobot. I wub you, wobot.
And how old is she? 2?
I don't think we know. Do we know how old she is, John?
No, we don't know.
Okay.
Probably 2.5, 3 years old, maybe 2.
See, Gia doesn't do things like that. She's, you know,
Oh no,
she's beyond that stage.
You know, and there's a part of me. My daughter just turned 6, going on
Did
12.
she?
Yeah, going on 12.
Yes.
I sometimes feel like I'm talking to a contemporary rather than a child. She's an old soul,
like
wise
old
beyond
souls,
her
though.
years as a conversationalist. But I miss the, you know, walking in the door, Daddy. You know.
Now she's like, so what's for dinner?
Yeah. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
I have to say,
No,
so
she
we have a mutual friend who can be quite boisterous. And one, my favorite Gia quote is, you are so loud. So, yes, she said that to someone who was actually quite loud.
You could be describing several people we know.
I know. She's like,
Oh, yeah, I know that it flies by now. She gets off the bus, and I carry her home. And yesterday she gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I was like, oh, remember this because
mindfulness. It's all about the
pretty
present. So
soon
enjoy
she's
it.
going to be a big girl, and oh well. We have to wrap this up because I have to go do Live in the D. Is there anything else you want peeps out there in interwebs land to know or to?
No, just sign up for Muckfest. I'm going to have a Muckfest team this year. So Muckfest is the muddiest fun you can have, and it's all to help people fighting and living with MS. So we're going to do that. May have an announcement on something that I'm working on in about a couple of weeks or so. So follow my page for that. And MS Action Day is April 22nd. You'll find out more information on nationalmssociety.org. And I guess that's everything. And if you want more information on cannabis, I'm mylegalized.com and on my Legalized Facebook page. I think that's everything.
All right, and you are now headed. I'm going off to go to do Live in the D on the TV on Local 4 at 10 o'clock with Chuck and Tati. You are off to an appointment.
Yes, a quick run by Costco to pick up something, and then I'm MRI. Hopefully my last one of the year. So.
Oh, of the year of all of 2017.
Yes, one a year. So I've been off of my disease modifying treatment for about a year now, and so this will be the test to see if I'm gambling and if I'm losing. Because it is a gamble to not be on your disease-modifying treatment. I will give you that.
Well, Godspeed and prayers,
Thank
from
you.
one friend to another. It's always good to see
man.
you, and hopefully this is not the last that I see of you. You're gonna come back.
It won't be, of course.
Come
of
back
course.
and just hang out, socialize.
I appreciate the invite. Thank
Please.
you.
We'll see you at the house.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
More borscht.
more borscht. All right. For Anquinette, John Stuckroth back here, Jason Carr. We'll see you on the TV. Everybody have a great day.
Stay classy, Detroit. Jason Carr Live was sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm. Mike Bob, Mike Wilkins.